back to the channel, and if you're new, thank you for tuning in. Today is day 6 of the Vlogmas, and I am about to wrap up these presents. Brittany gotta work, so she's just resting before work because she has to do it overnight, and it's just gonna be me today. And that's one thing I wanted to point out. Secondly, when y'all watch tomorrow Vlogmas, don't come for me because no, I didn't wear the same clothes twice in a row. Yeah, I shot 2 videos in the same day, so don't come for me. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get these presents wrapped. Y'all went to the Dollar Tree to find this, well, to get other stuff too, but I was looking for this. They didn't even have it anymore, so now I think we're gonna be stuck with Mr. Santa head right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and put Brittany's stuff up in a box because I can't put that in the box while on camera because then she'll know what she got. And so yeah, once I get done with that, I'll be right back. Y'all, so it's about an hour and a half later, and I'm finally done putting stuff in the boxes. Now I'm gonna go ahead and wrap these. The only ones that I'm gonna wrap out of these ones are these two because they're white. But these ones that got the decorations on it already, they're gonna stay just like that. I usually wrap those, but not today. It's not happening. Even the ones that's behind me, that's in boxes like the decorator boxes, they're not getting wrapped because I ain't got time for that this time around. We got like a lot of boxes. Matter of fact, I'm gonna count them all and I'm gonna show y'all how many boxes we got left. The only way those are gonna get wrapped is if it's a kid box, because I think I mentioned this before, but like I feel like kids want to unwrap gifts on Christmas. I know they will be taking it out of boxes, but that is not the same to me as unwrapping the gifts. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these and start wrapping these. I'm not gonna probably wrap all of them. 23 boxes that are white. Y'all think I'm gonna wrap all of those? No, I'll wrap about 12 of them, and she gonna wrap the other half because it's only fair. And I think it's kid ones over here. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go through these and see. And I also have one more big present that's up in the room, and I am gonna try to wrap that because, just because, I want to get it out of the baby's room, and I want it to be over here by the presents. I think. I'm not 100% sure yet, but that is definitely the plan. I look so big, y'all. Oh, did y'all know I'm 18 weeks now? I'm really 18 and a half weeks. So on Tuesday is when I will be 19 weeks. And like, it's just crazy because I just was telling y'all the other day that I'm about to be 18 weeks. It seems like it's going so slow, but it's also going so fast, which is crazy to me because like in 21 and a half weeks, we'll literally be parents. We'll literally be having a baby with us, and a baby that we can't get rid of, which is crazy. I think while I wrap up these presents, I'm gonna do a little Q&A with you guys, just regarding the IUI treatments and stuff. We were been supposed to do this, but we just never really got around to it. So I will answer the questions that I can answer without Brittany, and then if it's questions for Brittany or something like that, then I will have her answer the questions on another day whenever she get the time, or like on her next day off, or when she wrap her presents, because yeah, I'm not wrapping all of these presents. Yeah, then I just got up and I just realized it's a whole bunch of kids' toys over here that need to get wrapped too. Like, make it make sense. Like, I didn't even know we had this much stuff. I'm gonna show y'all everything once we get done. Well, once I get done. But it's crazy how many presents is over here. I didn't even realize it was that much. We got a lot of stuff, and I better get to wrapping because it's gonna take me a while to edit this video. These are the wrapping papers that I have. I have this. This is pretty big, it's pretty thick, so hopefully with all of these extra ones, that'll be enough. I was gonna do this, but what is the point of wrapping white boxes and white paper? Not happening, so we're gonna trash that. And then I have this, it's a little ho ho ho. And you know these Dollar Tree ones, they be real thin, so you gonna get about a few presents out of here, and then it's gonna be gone. And I got this silver one, and then I got this green and red one. I don't know why I got this green and red one, but it'll all tie in together. So this is what we have to work with. So let's see how much of this we actually end up using. I ain't gonna start with this because I know this is what's gonna be wrapped up with most of the presents. So I'm gonna start with this because I think this is cute. So I'm gonna start off with these little boxes: Natalia, Amaya, Pootie, Malachi, and Childboy. So I told myself that I wasn't gonna get my brothers nothing but because I got them like a t-shirt or whatever. I said I was only gonna get them a t-shirt and a pair of socks or whatever, because I just feel like they're at the age where they have girlfriends and stuff, and they wanna get their girlfriends and stuff, but they ain't never thought to get their mom, their dad, their brothers, their sisters, nothing like that, nothing. So I was like, I'm not getting them nothing. But at the end of the day, Christmas isn't about receiving. I love giving, and I just felt like it was wrong for me to just get them that one little shirt. But when it comes to next year, I don't plan on doing Christmas next year. But knowing me, that's gonna be a lie. But I'm gonna like cap it at like a $500 budget next year. Instead, I think we spent probably at least, not including our stuff that we got each other, we probably spent about $1,300. And we really wasn't gonna spend that much this year, but we ended up spending way too much. So I did get them something else, and it's on the way. As I was gonna say, next year when it comes to their birthdays and stuff like that, I'm not getting them anything for their birthdays and stuff like that, because they don't call and say, oh, hey, how you doing? They call when they want something, but they can't never call and say, hey, how you doing? Stuff like that. And then also when it's their birthdays, they'll call and they'll be like, my birthday coming up and stuff like that, but you ain't called me all year. So next year, 2025, they're gonna be the ones to determine if they get something for their birthday or if they don't. And then same for Christmas next year. I feel like I just had a birthday. Only one of my siblings got me something, which is fine. I'm not complaining about it, but he gonna give me a Dunkin' Donuts gift card and say don't spend it all in one place. My brother Foodie. And I thought that was funny. So yeah, when it comes to their birthdays, they're gonna determine how that goes. Because I feel like they're at that age where they can save up their money, they get money, and they can save up their money to say, oh, I'm gonna get somebody this for their birthday this year, or I'm gonna save up this money so I can get Christmas presents this year. Even if it's just a little card that they made, even if it's something that they made from, it's something that they made. It's just always literally about the thought, and I just feel like they don't think about nobody but themselves. So you gotta teach them a lesson. I don't want y'all to think that it's just because they don't give me nothing or anything like that, because it's probably how it sounds. It's literally not that. It's just the principle of things. They gotta understand that it's not only about receiving, but it's also about giving as well. And I'm gonna just give y'all my little disclaimer. I am not no professional rapper. I can barely rap, so don't talk about my rapping skills. As long as they get rapped, that's all that matters. But I'll watch. Brittany's gonna be like, what did you do here? Watch. Let me see. Okay. I'm gonna try to get through this, but that's gonna make it way longer. And I don't got much time for that. Let me find these questions. Okay, so my first question is, what made you share your IUI journey publicly? So one, I always would get a lot of questions during the process, especially like when I started to tell everyone that we were actually going through with it. And so that was one of the main reasons. And then two, I've always wanted to start a YouTube, but I've already had an excuse as well as to why I couldn't. And so I felt like this was the perfect opportunity for me to go ahead and start my YouTube and then be able to answer a lot of questions without having to repeat the same questions and stuff like that. Can you explain what IUI is and how it works? So IUI is a nitrogen, I'm not probably saying it right, but it's like a nitrogen insemination or something like that. And it's the most naturalist way to have the baby. Everybody know that we are a same-sex couple, and so I can't get a baby from Brittany. So what we did was we had to order sperm, and then they monitor you from day one, and then they inject you with a small little catheter, and then you hope that there's a baby in there. Literally, that's the process. Like I said, it's the most naturalist way to trying to conceive. To be honest, I don't really exactly know how IVF works, so I can't really explain that process, but I do believe like they take out an egg and then they inject it with the sperm and then they insert it back into you or something like that. I don't exactly know for sure, like 100%, but I think that is how that process goes. What led you to consider IUI as a fertility option? I just pretty much answered that. We are same-sex couples, so that was one. And then two, I didn't want to do IVF because I feel like that's more invasive, and I felt like IUI was more natural. And since I didn't have fertility issues, I just felt like it was the best way to go because it's not like I'm infertile. We just can't have a baby together. What was your first IUI cycle experience like? So it was nerve-wracking because I really didn't know what to expect. And so really though, y'all, it was like getting a pap smear. But it was, to me, in my opinion, it was painful. A little bit painful, and I don't want to scare y'all off. It wasn't too painful where you can't bear it, but it was just like, it was something that I was not used to. And I had a pretty good fertility team. Like the clinic that I went through Kind Body, and they were good with us. They were attentive. They were really like, they kept you in the loop of stuff. They did pretty good jobs at explaining things for us and everything. So my first IUI experience, it was nerve-wracking. It was like I was nervous, but they made it feel comfortable. Like it made me feel comfortable. So this is my first present. Yeah, it's because I'm trying to do this video with y'all and do this at the same time, to be honest. So, and on top of that, I already don't really know how to rap. Next question. How many IUI cycles have you undergone? All in all, I believe it was 6 cycles. But the first cycle, or I ain't gonna say the first cycle, but it was like 2 cycles where, you know, I said that they monitor you at first. Everything wasn't measuring out how it should. Like, I think once my lining wasn't thick enough another time, I can't exactly remember what was the second time, but whatever the case may be, it just didn't align, and so we couldn't do it twice. So really, all in all, we went through the process 4 times as far as getting inseminated, but we had 6 cycles because every menstrual cycle is considered a cycle, and so every menstrual cycle where we went for monitoring, that was considered a cycle. So all in all, we did 6, but in reality we did 4. What medications did you take during your IUI cycle? So during my IUI cycle, I didn't have to take, okay, like when we were going through the monitoring, I didn't take anything but a prenatal, and then here and there vitamin D, but now I take it faithfully, but I wasn't taking it faithfully then. The prenatal I started whenever I knew that we were going to be trying the fertility, because they say you should take it, like I believe it was like 3 months before. You should automatically take vitamins every day, but like a multivitamin every day. Everyone should take one, whether you're a male or a female. But I started taking the prenatals like a month or two before we started the cycle. And then vitamin D, like when they would test and monitor everything, they would notice that my vitamin D was pretty low sometimes, so they would prescribe me the vitamin D at first, and then they told me to go get an over-the-counter vitamin D. And so I would take vitamin D and prenatals, and then after the insemination, I believe a couple days later, they would have me take progesterone, and I would do that until I found out if I was pregnant or not. And then what else? Estrogen. I forgot what the estrogen was for, but I had to get on estrogen twice, I believe. I think it was to help thicken my lining or something like that. So those are the medicines that I had to take. How did you handle the uncertainty and waiting during the 2-week window? To be honest, it was really hard at first. I won't lie. I would look up stuff and see what's supposed to be happening and see what other people felt and stuff like that. Like, I would look up what to expect when you're going through IUI and stuff like that. And that is something I do not recommend, because it will have your mind wondering and wondering and wondering until you can't wonder no more. I'll be honest, it was hard, especially at first, but then I started being more faithful, like believing in God and stuff like that. I would pray a lot and I told myself, like, I'm gonna put it in God's hands. And that is really how I got through it. My faith is what really got me through it, to be honest. You want to find something that gives you hope, and to me, that was God. Did you experience any side effects or discomfort during the process? Okay, so when I first started, we started at a clinic here locally, and the first test that they did, like, they had did an ultrasound and they found out that I had an endometrioma, and so they wanted to test and see, like, if everything was good to go. Pretty much like, it was in one of my tubes or something like that, and they wanted to make sure that it would go through. So what they did was they injected me with, what is the word I'm looking for, like saline or something like that, and they wanted to make sure that it would pass through, and it did. But one thing that they told me is that I would experience some discomfort, and that was like, if you go back to my videos, I think it was the first video that I did, I was in pain. I literally was out of breath, and I had to go to the emergency room. But everything turned out to be fine. My shoulders, they had got like really, because they said it's saline and air tends to rise, and so it would do that, and it did exactly what they said it was gonna do. How did you balance work and daily life during your IUI journey? So when I first started my IUI journey, I wasn't in school, so that was a plus. And then with my job, I could just call and be like, I'm gonna be late today, because my doctor's appointments, they were all over the place. I would have to go like every other day a lot of times and stuff like that. So I would just call and let them know that I would be late that day and stuff like that. So it really was fine. It wasn't putting a strain on anything. My next question is, what role did your partner or support system play in your journey? So as for Brittany, she was there with me every step of the way, encouraging me not to give up, because it was so many times that I wanted to just give up, and I would just think like the worst, like maybe it's something wrong with my body and stuff like that. And she did a good job of reassuring me that it wasn't me and that it would happen. To be honest, she played a major role, and as much as it was a toll on me, I know it took a toll on her as well, but she stood strong for me throughout the whole process. Then my family, they were always there to encourage me, like my sisters-in-law and stuff like that. My mom, all of them, they were there to encourage me and let me know like it's gonna happen. You just gotta give it time. You gotta believe that it's gonna happen, and put positive energy out there and stuff like that. And then one thing my dad, he did was he really helped. He actually helped financially, because if you know, or if you don't know, it is pretty pricey to do the process. I have insurance and good insurance, so that helped out a lot. But oh my goodness, I feel so bad for anyone who don't have insurance and went through this process, just because I know the financial strain it was on us with insurance. I'm so thankful for him, because he did help out tremendously. What advice would you give to others considering IUI? I would say, 1, shoot for it. 2, find something that's gonna keep you occupied. One thing about this process is that it will test your patience. It will test your faith. So you just gotta remain faithful, remain positive, and just don't stress it. Just gotta remember that it's not gonna be on your time, and it's not gonna happen when you want it to happen and how you think it should happen. So you just have to remain patient, and you have to remain calm and positive at all times, because once you start getting that doubt, it'd be hard to just like want to keep going. So yeah, I would definitely say keep going no matter what. And if you have a good doctor, like I did, like he told me he had plan A, B, and C, and D. So if it didn't work, we would make a way to work. Like I said, it's not only IUI. If IUI doesn't work for you, then there's always IVF. So don't give up. Don't be quick to give up, I must say, because it's easy to want to give up. But just don't give up so quickly. If it's meant to be, it'll happen. And it's not going to happen on your timing. Y'all, this is my 3rd present. I think I've been rapping for like 30 minutes or so now. It's 5:55 right now. I'm gonna see how long it's gonna take me to wrap the next 3 presents. Next question is, what are some common misconceptions you had about IUI? Y'all, to be honest, I'm like, well, even though my doctor told me that it will take a lot of tries, it could take a lot of tries, and I think he said like 6 cycles or 3, or I don't remember if it was 3, or I don't remember if it was 6, but he said he never really get anybody on the first try. So if it didn't work out for me, not to get discouraged, because it could take many cycles. And so even with him telling me that, I still felt like, I'm like, well, I'm not infertile. I don't have issues with fertility. So it's gonna happen for me on the first time. And that was where I went wrong from, because I was expecting it to happen on that first time. And so when I got that first negative test, it was like, are you serious? Like, is something wrong with me? I'm already starting to question myself and stuff like that. So that was one of the main misconceptions that I had. I probably had more, but I really can't think of any more at this time. How did you handle negative test results or failed cycles? So the first time I was like, well, it is what it is. He did say that it could take multiple times. The second time I was like a little more bummed and disappointed. And I was starting to get worried because I was just expecting for it to be positive. On that second, I'm like, it wasn't positive on the first time. It's definitely gonna be positive this time around, which wasn't the case. And then the third time, I can't remember the exact order, but I'm just putting it like this because, you know, like I said, it was times where I couldn't do it. So like the third time, it was like, oh, your lining isn't thick enough, so we can't do it this year. This month. And so I'm like, oh man, there's something wrong with my body. I'm starting to question. The fourth time, it didn't work again. And so like now I'm starting to cry and be just discouraged, and I'm starting to think the most negative things. The fifth time, like I said, I don't know the exact order of how we could and couldn't do it, but like the fifth time, it was like, can't do it this month because everything wasn't aligning right. And they didn't want to waste anything. And so I'm like, well, if I go next time and I don't get pregnant and I don't do this, I think I'm gonna just put it off for a year or so, because I can't keep putting myself through this. Then I would remind myself, like, it's not your timing, honey, it's God's timing. It's not, if it doesn't happen this time, that doesn't mean it's not for you. It's just not for you right now. And so that is how I dealt with those negative tests. And then, like I said, I always had Brittany there to reassure me, and she was there for me a lot. And then I would go to church and just hear messages and things like that. That would just reassure me, like, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. So that is how I dealt with that. For y'all, I am wrapping my niece's present right now, and it's gonna be her first Christmas. And I'm thinking, like, oh my goodness, she's gonna be opening presents, and this time next year, she'll be a big cousin, and my baby, it'll be my baby's first Christmas, and they'll be able to open their presents. Like, it's crazy how everything happened. I'm just so glad that everything happened the way it did and when it did. So the next question is, how did you choose your fertility clinic or doctor? So like I said, I was going with another clinic here locally, and then we had like a misunderstanding, a disagreement or whatever. And so I switched fertility clinics, which I didn't really want to do, but we're like, we're not going to let anybody treat us that way, and we're giving them our money. And now that I'm thinking about it, they still owe me some money. They called me about sometime in the summer talking about they had a check for me. I called them, and they never sent me my money back. And now they're not even that same clinic anymore. Somebody else took over them. But yeah, anyway, so what we had to do was do some research and look into other clinics, and we found Kind Body, and so we just decided to go with them. And we just, I don't know, we randomly chose a doctor, and I think he had a lot of good reviews or something like that. And so we just went with him, and he was really, really, really nice, y'all. Like, I would definitely recommend him because he was really good. He was a really good, especially at like reassuring us and things of that sort. So, how did you deal with feelings of guilt, shame, or inadequacy related to fertility challenges? Honestly, like I said, faith, God, and Brittany, and my support system, like I said, my mom, my family, just everyone reassuring me, everyone just being there, giving me words of encouragement throughout the process, a lot of praying, and then a lot of believing. That's the only way I can sum that up. What message would you like to share with others struggling with infertility or fertility treatments? Don't give up. I know it is pricey. I know it is hard. I know it's hard to not blame yourself and put it all on you, but just don't give up. If you believe in God, lean on God, or whatever you believe in, lean on your faith. I don't know, that's the easiest way I can put it. It's not going to be an easy road, but nothing in life is easy. So if this is something that you really want, and if it's meant for you, it'll happen in due season. Don't give up, and just keep going. Find something to keep you busy. Find something to keep your mind occupied, because it's easy to get caught up in your thoughts and emotions. So whether it's going to the gym, just something to just keep your mind busy. That is my advice to people with infertility issues and struggling with fertility cycles. Don't always assume the worst. It may not be you. It's just not the right timing. But everything happens for a reason. And always advocate for yourself. Don't let them treat you any kind of way, because at the end of the day, you're giving them your money. Yes, that is the best that I can do for advice, you guys. And if you're doing it with the partner, make sure that it's a partner that you can depend on, a partner that you can lean on. Because the people that you surround yourself with also plays a part in this journey. So the next question I have is, how did you prioritize your mental health during the intense periods of treatments? Wow, that's a good question. How did I do that? I guess, like I said, I would pray a lot, meditate, pray a lot, talk to God a lot, and just try to stay positive. At first, that wasn't the case for me, but then I started going to church more. Something else I would suggest is maybe journaling. I feel like that would have been something good for me to do. I didn't think about it then, but I should have did it, and that probably would have been helpful for me. But yeah, that's something that I would recommend for others to do. Just journal, meditate, pray if that's what you believe in. Here's a good question. How did you handle the possibility of multiple pregnancies or other complications? I just prepared myself for it to be more than one, because I knew, like, with some of the medication that I was taking, because I did forget to mention that I was taking injections in my stomach as well, and that could increase the possibility of having multiple pregnancies. And there was another medicine that I took, guys, and I cannot think of what the medicine is called. I will have to go look back on my other videos, because I believe I explained it then. But taking that medicine made it more possible for you to have multiple pregnancies. And so I was expecting for it to be more than one, which I'm happy it's not. I'm very, very happy it's not. But I was at the point where I was praying to God, like, you can give me 5 babies at once. I don't care. Just let it be positive. And then on top of that, multiples do run in my family. Like on my mom's side, I think there is 3 on her side that I can think of, and maybe more, but I don't think it is. And then on my dad's side, there are 3 sets on that side as well. Like, and it could be more over there. I could be missing some, but matter of fact, on my mom's side, it's 4. So, like I said, multiples run in the family. So I was ready for it. I mean, I am not ready for it because this is my first child, and I would always say, like, I don't want twins on my first try. But if it happened, it just happened. And then other complications, it would always play over and over in my head of what my doctor said. I have a plan A, B, C, and D for you. So if this don't work, then we'll figure out something that will work for you. But yeah, on another note, I ordered this for my niece, right? I'm thinking this little toy is right here is $10. And I'm sitting here thinking it was gonna be bigger than this. Why I get this? What is this supposed to be? What is this? I wanna open it so bad, but I'm not gonna open it. But it looks like it's gonna fit perfectly in this last little piece that I got. What advice would you give someone just starting their fertility journey? This kind of tie into one of the last questions, but I would just say this process, this journey is going to test your patience. So you got to have patience. And if you don't have patience, you're going to learn to have patience real quick, because you can go in there expecting one thing, but it don't turn out to be that. So another thing I would say is, I think they say expect the worst, pray for the best, or hope for the best. That's what I would say going into this. Also, make sure when you start the process, you are financially ready to start the process. But it is pretty costly. So you want to make sure that you go in with some savings. You want to make sure that you save up toward this process, because insurance does not cover everything, especially like the sperm. You have to pay for that yourself. And sperm can vary from anywhere, from what I've seen, anywhere from, I want to say the lowest was $350, and that's not including the shipping and stuff, to anywhere up to like $2,500, and that's just one vial. So definitely put up savings, and then you also have co-payments and things like that. So make sure you have money saved just specifically toward your journey. And then I would also say, make sure you have a good support system. Keep the naysayers away from you. Don't let the doctors push you into anything or tell you that something isn't right. You make sure you advocate for yourself at all costs. What role did faith or spirituality play in your journey? Like I said, I leaned on my faith heavily. I leaned on God heavily. I tried to remain positive and just remember, like, it's not my timing, it's God's timing. I went to church more and I prayed more. My faith is what kept me sane. I would like sometimes go to church or just like read something or see something on TikTok about faith, and I would be like, oh wow, this was literally a message from God telling me it's gonna be okay. You know what I mean? My faith definitely played a major role. It honestly, the process brought me closer to God. Once I just prayed about it and believed that God would do this for me, it just seemed like everything would fall in place. And when you give something to God, you want to just leave it at that. Don't continuously question him. And when you believe, you just have to make sure that you believe. You can't say, well, I believe, but then want to constantly question God. And that is something that I learned throughout this process, especially about my faith. I have 3 more questions, and then I actually finished with the questions before I finished wrapping up these presents, and I actually have a lot more to go. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm on my 6th right here. Presents done, and that's really because I've been talking so much. Like, I can't talk and then do something at the same time because I can't focus. The next question, what are some things you wish you had done differently during your journey? I wish I didn't Google anything. Don't Google nothing, y'all. If you're gonna go through this process, don't be Googling on what to expect on day 1 of your IUI cycle, after an IUI cycle or IUI insemination, because that is what I was doing, literally. And I was psyching myself out, and then I would look up stuff like how to know you are infertile. What are signs of infertility? Just stay away from Google is my main thing, is what I'm really trying to say, I guess. Because Google will have you thinking the worst. How has your IUI journey shaped your perspective on life and resilience? It has brought me more closer to my faith. It has taught me a lot more patience. It has taught me to not assume. So I am happy that I went through this process, because I did learn, like I said, I learned a lot when it came to this process. How has your journey impacted your relationships with friends and family? I ain't got many friends, y'all, so I ain't got no friends actually. But when it comes to family, it made me realize, like, I wasn't in this alone, and that a lot more people wanted this just as bad as I did. It just made me realize that a lot of people were rooting for me, and a lot of people wanted this just as bad as I did. It has brought me closer to, like, my family and my in-laws. But yeah, it just made me realize that we really have a big village, especially since we've gotten a positive pregnancy test. It just brought a lot of, it just made me realize a lot of things. And I know, like, God forbid, I'm gonna knock on wood, but if anything were to ever happen to me and Brittany, I know that our baby would be safe, would be loved, would be protected. That is what it did for me and my family. But yeah, guys, that is all of the questions that I have. I think I will go ahead and finish wrapping up as many presents as I can, and then I will show y'all the end result. Alright, y'all, and like 3 hours later, I'm finally done. Oh my goodness. It's been a long 3 hours. My fingers is burning. I'm tired. I haven't took a nap today, and I still gotta edit this video for tonight. I'm tired. Can y'all tell I'm tired? Do I look tired? But yeah, let me show y'all the finished product. Can't even see any of the presents that I wrapped because they're all in the back. But yes, it's presents back there. Let me see. I'll come over here. Still can't see, but there's presents everywhere. Under the tree, behind the tree, on top of the tree, might as well be. And then these are still the presents that got to be wrapped. Those are all kids' presents, so I want to wrap those. And knowing me, I said I was going to leave it to Brittany. I know I'm going to end up doing it. This is all of the kids' stuff. I don't really want them to see, because, you know, sometimes they be like, TT Gabby, I saw you on YouTube. So hopefully they don't see me on YouTube before Christmas. But they won't know whose is whose anyway. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. Thank you all for tuning in with me and watching today's video, Vlogmas Day 6. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to tune into tomorrow's video to catch Vlogmas Day 7.